Well, gentlemen, welcome to the second phase of online teaching classes as directed by Higher Education Department, Punjab. Here I am Sharif Zayed, Assistant Professor of English from Government Postgraduate College at Tug. Well, in the last chapter, we had studied the background in which this novel has been written. The background was that when one grows aged, what does happen to him? First of all, it was told that the time passes like lazy cattle moving across a landscape. And second was that one wishes to sit by the fire and drink a cup of tea. And also, one wishes to listen to the school bell sounding dinner call over prep and lights out. Then the writer switches over to the person about whom he wishes to tell us that Mr. Chipping was getting old. Rather, he was retired from his service and now he was living on the sweet memories of his past. So, this novel is based on the recollections of those sweet memories. Then there was something told about his doctor who used to come and check him up fortnightly or weekly basis, and he passed certain instructions to the landlady with whom Mr. Chips was living on rent, and certain cautions which she has to observe while looking after him. Then the same very recollections with Mr. Chips when he had his first meeting with his first head, whose name is Weatherby, and there was an exchange of vast experience on one side and the upcoming youth on the second side. And he told him that you are young, Mr. Chipping, and Brookfield is an old foundation. Youth and age often combine well. While passing instructions, he asks him, give your enthusiasm to Brookfield, and Brookfield will give you something in return. And of course, he did impart his energy, knowledge. And with the combination of that youth and age, that gentleman turned out a successful teacher of the institution. He narrated the story of his first class in which he punished a certain guy and then he made a continuous humorous joke whenever any other student from that family came. He used to tell that your father was the first whom I punished. During this while, he asked a cup of tea from that landlady, Mrs. Wickett, and when she used to come, definitely after a certain time, Mr. Chips would be sitting in the posture that she knew not whether he was laughing or crying, and neither did Chips himself. Then, switching over to chapter 2, from where I shall start from today in my first lecture. Chapter 2 elaborates about the building and its situation. Where does it is situated? Let us start from the text from chapter 2, page 4. Across the road behind a rampart of ancient elms lay Brookfield. Brookfield is a building. So that does lay means that come Behind the rampart of ancient elms, there is a high wall of stones, and then there is a series of the trees, and its color is rosette, reddish color of the building under its autumn mantle of creeper, and so many creepers are there, and the season as it is autumnal one. A group of 18th century buildings centered upon a quadrangle, the type of building, the design of building, which is unique for its 18th century buildings. And there were acres of playing fields beyond, and so many playgrounds were there before that building. It was a vast enough playground. Then came the small dependent village and open fen country. After that, there was a village, and the name was titled to this building after the name of that village because that was adjacent to that place, nearer one. And the area generally is low wetland with few trees over there. It was a wet ground like marshes. Brookfield, as Weatherby had said, Brookfield was an old foundation. It was built many years ago, and it has earned a reputation established in the reign of Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, 16th century, and it was tasked as a grammar school. It might, with better luck, it might have become as famous as Harrow, means Eton, Harrow, other institution compare he is comparing. So it would have achieved that very goodwill, that very fame and repute. Its luck, however, had not been so good, but it failed to achieve that status. How? Why? The school went up and down, dwindling almost to non existent at one time. It means it was gradually lessening, and some might think that it will finish out, phase out, and becoming almost illustrious at another, and sometime it got fame as well. It was during one of these later periods, means the periods of its good name and good fame, in the reign of George I, that the main structure had been rebuilt. Main structure of Brookfield was rebuilt and large additions made, and so many other buildings were added to the primary structure. Later, after the Napoleonic Wars and until mid Victorian days, means this school saw Victorian period as well. The school declined again. Once again, it lost its good fortune, its good status, both in numbers and repute, with respect to the total number of the students and with respect to its goodwill as well. Weatherby, who came in 1840, restored its fortune somewhat. Weatherby, with whom Mr. Chipping had his first meeting at the time of joining his service, he restored its good fortune, its stated, but its subsequent history later on never raised it to front rank status. No other head of that institution was able to raise its position. It was nevertheless. So finally, we reached at the conclusion that which type of institution it had been in the past and what reputation it earned. So, the type of education institution it was a good school of the second rank. Brookfield could not achieve the status of first rank. But among the second rank, all of the schools, it achieved a good status. Several notable families supported it. So many prominent families of London supported it. It supplied fair samples of the history making men of the age, judges, members of parliament, colonial administrators, a few peers, and bishops. So, what was its product and who the students who turned out Mostly there were judges, member of the parliament, colonial administrators, and those who belonged to churches. And mostly, however, it turned out so after that first lot, this in the second lot, there were merchants, manufacturers, and professional men. So the same very institution produced manufacturers, businessmen, with a good sprinkling of country squires and parsons, and some of the time those who belonged to far flung areas, but they were of the well off families, they were called squires and parsons, bishops and priests as well. It was a sort of school which, when mentioned, would sometimes make snobbish people confess. It means when somebody was talking about this school, those who got somewhat rich, so they expressed their views in this way that they rather thought they had heard of it. Yes, I have heard this name somewhere in any meeting or greeting. But if it had not been this sort of school, it would probably not have taken chips. As a matter of fact, as this school did not belong to high quality first rank school, so had it been a first rank school, it would not have taken Mr. Chips as a teacher. For Chips, in any social or academic sense, as a matter of fact, Chips was just a respectable but no more brilliant than Brookfield itself. It means Brookfield was an average school and Mr. Chips also belonged to an average status. It had taken him some time to realize this. Him is Mr. Chips over here. That Mr. Chips took some time at the beginning, not that he was boastful or conceited. It is not because of the fact that he used to talk about himself that I can do this or that, but he had been in his early 20s, he had been as ambitious as most other young men at such an age. Means he also wanted to perform high, to achieve high goals, as it is in this age, teenage, so many people aspire to do. His dream had been to get a headship eventually. Finally, he wanted to become the head of an institution, or at any rate, a senior mastership in a really first class school. So, he wanted to become, of course, the teacher of any first class school. It was only gradually, after repeated trials and failures, he made efforts. He could not achieve his target. So, after a passage of time, he realized the inadequacy of his qualification, that I am unable to achieve that status. His degree, for instance, was not particularly good. He was an average, and his discipline, though good enough and improving, his discipline wasn't absolutely reliable under all conditions, and his discipline was also not so much of the first rank status. He had no private means and no family connections of any importance. His sources of income were limited. About 1880, after he had been at Brookfield a decade, when he had passed his first 10 years, at that time he began to recognize that the odds were heavily against his being able to better himself by moving elsewhere, that he could not move somewhere else because of so many obstacles. But about that time also, the possibility of staying where he was began to fill a comfortable niche in his mind. Means he was thinking that I can perform well over here because now I am settled after a decade. At 40, he was rooted, settled, and quite happy. Means he adjusted himself successfully. And at 50, when he became senior enough, he was the dean of the staff. So he became a staff secretary, and at 60, under a new and youthful head, he was Brookfield. He himself was considered that he was an institution in himself because of his seniority as the guest of honor at old Brookfieldian dinners, which used to this dinner was arranged on annual basis, which used to be arranged, and the Court of Appeal in all matters affecting Brookfield history and tradition, and all the matters used to come before him. And in 1930, when he turned 65, he retired and was presented with a check and a writing desk and a clock. So, on his retirement, he was given three things: a check, a writing desk, and a clock, and went across the road to live at Mrs. Wicket. So, as his service completed, fine English language has been used over here for those who want to learn good English. A decent career decently closed. Three cheers for old chaps, everybody appreciated. They all shouted at that uproarious end of Tom dinner. At the end of that Tom, he was given that farewell party. Of course, the writer is of the opinion that three cheers indeed. But there was more to come. An unguessed epilogue, another story that will be given at the end. An encore played to a tragic audience, and when audience will listen to, definitely they may feel unhappy. So, this was all about the institution in which he served. How did he serve will be told in the next chapter. Thank you very much for patient listening and happy watching. Allah Hafiz.